Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ashwini from the Holistic GP podcast. Today we're going to speak to Dr. Lisa Silvani, and she's an anti aging and functional medicine practitioner who's going to educate us on how we all can achieve a better optimum health by using lifestyle strategies. So, hi Lisa, welcome to the show.
Hi, Doc. Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lisa. Now, can you just give us a brief outline on who you are, what do you do, and how did you come about this journey?
Okay. So, like you said before, I'm a medicine practitioner, and um, so I've been practicing medicine since 2009 as a GB, of course. And I've been circling around. I've been as working as aesthetic medicine practitioners, anti-aging practitioners, and finally I fall in love into functional medicines in about 2015 or 2016. And in functional medicines, we really use lifestyles as therapy. um, it's not until I understand what lifestyle therapy is, because as a GPs, you tend to just tell your patients, do exercise 3 times a week, eat your veggies, get a good night's sleep, things like that. But not until I jump into functional medicines and really see what is a lifestyle medicine is and how to use it correctly, because it's more like a personalized for everyone. It's not the same, and when you do it correctly, it really does speed up the healing process. It prevents any more chronic health issues. It works wonders.
No, I agree with you. I think lifestyle medicine is actually a very important part of general practice
Yeah.
because a lot of the cases that we see today are actually lifestyle related. And often by fixing the lifestyle, we often can get great healing for patients. So now, from since you have done lifestyle medicine, can you just give a brief outline to us? What are the aspects that you found that were really helpful, and how has that changed your current consulting, and how has it changed your patient's outcome?
Besides lifestyle medicines.
No, lifestyle medicine itself. How has it changed your current practicing model?
Okay. So since I've known the functional medicines, I actually already use lifestyle medicine as therapies. More than just lifestyle medicines when you practice functional medicines, but lifestyle is like a supporting therapies. But if I can say it like this, if you don't do the lifestyle one, the other is not really working well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can use drugs, you can use supplementations, multivitamins, but if you do not change the lifestyle, if your patient doesn't want to do lifestyle adjustment, you're not going to get the outcome that you are expecting. That is that is why before anyone can have like not consultations, like before we move on into treatment or treating or taking initial consultations, even I have like a pre-consultations where I ask them, do you want to have lifestyle adjustments? Are you willing to adjust your lifestyle? Because if they don't want it, I I don't really generally expecting they to jump into consultation of or working with me actually.
Mm-hmm. Because that's a very important aspect. I totally agree. Now,
Yeah.
something that I saw that's really interesting, and I see you're focusing on, is mitochondrial medicine.
On fatigue, yes, because I tend to focus on fatigue, and because fatigue is closely related to energy productions pathway, which is
Mm-hmm.
the main point is mitochondria.
Mm-hmm. So, can you just explain a bit of that to us? So, when someone comes to you with fatigue, what are the things you look for, and how do you assess their mitochondrial function?
Okay, so because I use the functional medicine matrix, I usually use the matrix to assess the patient. So it's from the gut, from their cardiovasculars, from the environmental toxins, but also on their lifestyle. Like we cannot really dismiss the lifestyles. Some people with bad sleep hygienes, people with I don't know, drinking issues, people with sedentary lifestyles. That is not something that we can just ignore. But when I assess patients with fatigue or with any other patients, actually, I use the matrix, which has six matrix.
Mm-hmm.
The gut functions, the hormone functions, and cardiovasculars, immune systems, and the energy productions, which is fatigue related, but also it's I mean when anyone have fatigue issues, maybe for for many people it will just like, okay, so that means that we need to correct the mitochondria, but you cannot correct the mitochondria until you correct the other matrix.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why actually everything is interconnected. You cannot just see, oh, it's the mitochondria, it's only the mitochondria. It doesn't work that way. You need to
Okay.
assess everything.
So the goal of mitochondrial medicine is basically to improve energy production.
Yes.
And I understand this, but for our listeners out there, can you just explain about what is the benefit of looking at a patient in this sort of, like you say, matrix? Um,
Mm.
and what sort of duration does it take to explore these areas and for you to come to a diagnosis and help them? And what sort of help has really benefited those with fatigue?
Okay, so maybe we go back to the goals of the mitochondrial medicine itself. The
Mm-hmm.
mitochondrial medicine, it's not something that is separated from the general medicines. It is the building block. Like I just said, if anyone's learning is if every doctor's learning about mitochondrial medicines, we as a society we will be in a very good help in general, because then we understand what needs to be uh, not fixed, heal actually, what needs to be balanced, because our body is it's in terms is balancing. But the goals of mitochondrial medicine itself, it's building awareness of that thing, the roles that our mitochondria plays. That is the building block. It's not something that is separated. Now, when we are talking about what how we can, what durations and others and fatigue, and how we best use of the matrix, it's a very personalized one. So may I just like do example when a patient comes to me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will do like 2 hours of initial consultation, which basically just asking like I don't know, like hundreds or more questions. It's like an interrogation actually. so, so yeah, that is something that my patient has endured actually, because I need to know on details, their medical histories, their not just like the big one like trauma or surgery, no, but the recurrent ones like chronic sinusitis, allergy, hay fever that they're having for years, because that is something people tend to see it as allergy or immune system, but your immune system is going to take a toll on your mitochondria if that is happening on and on. So that is the point where you use the matrix is very important, because then you can see that, okay, so on the immune systems you're having chronic sinusitis or hay fever. On the gut systems you have probably like leaky gut. Yeah, and that is something that we need to work on uh, as for that persons in general, because when you can put it on the matrix you can see a lot more better, rather than just, okay, this patient has hypothyroidism. Fatigue usually is related to hypothyroidism or fibromyalgia. I do. Uh, I have patients with hypothyroidism, with fibromyalgia, but when they come to me, I don't really use that kind of diagnose. I put them aside, and then I generally just take initial consultation, just any other patients,
Mm-hmm.
because then can give me better perspective of what is happening beneath all of that,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, you explore all this area: gut hormones, cardiovascular, energy
Yeah.
productions, their lifestyle, the environment.
Yes.
Um, Now, There's also a different component of people with mitochondrial disease. So
Ah,
that's not something we are talking about, right? We are
no,
talking
no,
about just
no,
keeping your body generally healthy.
because there are two types. That is something that I think people, when people heard mitochondrial medicines, they tend to ignore them because people relate mitochondrial to mitochondrial disease, which is like Rett syndrome, Lake syndrome, Friedreich ataxia. Those are congenital disease. That is genetic disorder. That is not some. I don't treat them. I don't treat them.
Yeah, that's why I don't want people to think that, okay, this is what. So
No,
it's
no,
not that. Yeah, this is
no.
mitochondria is cell function and cell health that we're trying to actually reinforce here.
Yeah. So what I treat is a mitochondrial dysfunctions, not a mitochondrial disease.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's two different things.
Now, from your experience and what you've seen with patients, someone who's fatigued, I mean, of course, like I understand, you have to look at every system. Someone might have a gut issue, someone might have a
Yes.
hormone issue, someone might
Mhm,
have, energy or mental health
mhm,
issues.
mhm.
What is the common things you work on to improve the health of this group of patients who come to you? Just so our listeners can have some takeaway today on what they
Okay.
can work on their own to benefit their health.
Okay. When we're trying to improve the energy production process in general, well, yes, it makes sense that you look at the mitochondrial health first. I mean, we're going to dismiss other systems like gut because it's complex. You need to really just dig deep if you want to do that. But in make it simple, yes, you need to look at the mitochondria. And for mitochondria to be healthy, you need a good sleeping pattern. You
Mm-hmm.
need a good exercise plan. That is the basic. And then you need a good nutrients that support that mitochondrial health itself.
Can
So
you
things,
explain a bit more on that? Yes.
yeah, so things like CoQ10, which is the on the mitochondria itself, there are several things that is going on that produce energy, right? The Krebs cycles, the electron transport system. So it might not sounds simple because when you look at the process, it's hectic. It's yeah. When you look at the Krebs cycles, yeah, nobody's like that. Not even doctors. Like we, that is a very heavy pattern
It
that
was
we need
just
to
for
learn.
exam purpose, like, memorize it for exam and
Yeah,
that's all. Yeah, but
yeah,
it's actually
yeah.
very important. Yeah.
Exactly. That is that. I mean, I thought the same way, like you, like every doctors, I think. But when I know what can be done when we try to improve those system, those process or circle, we, I don't know. I just have a lot of good outcome from that. So yeah, the CoQ10, the CoQ10 is very important, and sometimes you don't realize of how much depleted your CoQ10's resource are, especially when someone is taking other medications or other drugs, because several drugs tend to lower the CoQ10 resource inside the body.
Yeah, mostly
And then,
statin and
ah,
things
thank you
like
for
that.
saying that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I
So
think we're
people,
trying to educate people. So, like
yeah.
mostly, but everyone is different. They should speak to their own health professional.
Exactly, and that is
Mhm.
something that you can check right now. I mean, not in every country, but you can do a you can do a test, or you can just simply add in some CoQ10 into your supplementations. I usually use supplementations when you want to increase your CoQ10 because it's
Mhm.
tend to faster, to have a better results rather than taking in from food
Mhm.
for cookie times. But other thing is that you need to also improve your B's. So it's B2, it's B3, it's B5, B12. Generally, you're just B's, B complex
Mhm.
multivitamins. So make a good choices on your food because what you're eating is what you're getting at. And some people will have like trying to choose diet over diet over diet, jump into from one diet to another. I always try to tell my patients it's not about the diet, it's about the choices that you make. It's not about the weight that you lose, but it's about how much healthy your plates are. Because in the end, if you are trying to achieve health, your weight will follow. Right,
Mm-hmm.
when yeah, people try to do diets most of the time, but then it's not going to give them better outcome if they try to do it like as easy or as simple or as fast as they can.
What
So
is usually your diet advice? Like when a patient comes to you, what do they go back with? What's your advice to them?
I well, there's a lot of things. Most likely, I ask them to cut sugars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and most likely patients with fatigue, especially if it's a woman, I would ask them to cut down their coffee,
Mm-hmm.
because coffee will reduce your progesterone levels, which can really, in terms of hormonal balance, it's going to make the hormones to be imbalanced, which then in turn can lead to fatigue. So that
Mm-hmm.
is part where hormones can
Which is
be
like a
really
double-edged sword, right? Because a lot of these women are probably using coffee to help them with the
exactly.
fatigue. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is, yeah, I got that a lot. Like, Doc, I cannot even function before my morning coffee. I get that. You know what? Because I experience fatigue on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I experience fatigue on my own. I'm a coffee addicted. So I get that. I know it's hard, but sometimes I share my own journey to just make them understand that it is possible. It is possible to live without coffee. It is possible. I mean, you can go back to your morning coffee afterwards when you are not addicted. When you can live without your morning coffee,
Mm-hmm.
then you can drink your coffee again, because it should be a choice, not an addiction, not
Mm-hmm.
a need. Yeah. And then after that, increase your veggies. I mean, vegetable is really important. It's increase your veggies, especially green leaf, because it's going to give that micronutrients. That is where the micronutrients resides, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but also I also ask them to alternate. So when you're taking vegetables, it's good to have like a rainbow diet. If you've ever heard of rainbow diet,
Mm-hmm.
yes, because it's going to give you that adequate in nutrients. It's not just about the calcium or magnesiums. You can get anything from the vegetables if you do a rainbow diet. If you really apply that to everyday's plate. So
Which is
that is the
sometimes
most important.
difficult. I mean, to have, 7 different colors and vegetable, we
Yeah,
know how it
yeah.
is to go back and prepare a meal and put 7 different colors on the table.
Exactly.
Impossible, but
No.
as much as you can.
No, it's not. I'm not usually suggesting for daily. I'm suggesting them for weekly.
Mm-hmm.
So for every week, like on probably on Monday, which one do you want to have in your plate? Like you don't have to have like 5 different colors. No, you don't have to do that. But at least in a week, you will have like
Incorporate all the colors. Yeah.
yeah, and incorporate all the colors, because that is necessary. I mean,
And I think just to
yeah,
explain why we are doing that, it's actually for the gut microbiome, because to
exactly.
populate your gut microbiome,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
different organisms grow best in different environments.
exactly.
So that's what we're doing. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that is the rainbow diet. I really like that. I mean, it makes everything simple to explain to the patients. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, just choose different colors. Like, yeah, we tend to like, okay, so for calcium, you need to eat this. For magnesium, no. Right now, I'm just like, you know what? You need to have several different colors in your plate. That's it.
And you don't want to make it difficult because then it's not sustainable. So
Yes,
something
yes,
that
they
you
will
can do
run.
day to day.
they will run. When it's too difficult, when it's too uh, people will tend to like they don't come back, right?
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, you need to make it easy and you need to make
Easy
it simple.
and
Yeah,
sustainable. Yeah.
and sustainable. Yes.
Okay, and then what's next? So we spoke sleep. You talk about, yeah, exercise. You talk about nutrient, and you said in nutrient we're going to do coenzyme Q10, vitamins, cut off coffee, increase your veggie.
Yes. So I think most likely that is the core things. I mean, for more than that, you need to like consult with doctors. Like for most patients, I know that the environmental toxicant is huge,
Mm-hmm.
and that will disturb the energy production process, and it can increase for for mitochondria. The worst thing that can happen is oxidative stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
When your mitochondria environments when your cells environment is having oxidative stress, that is when things get worse. So but to
Can
assess
you just
that.
explain oxidative stress to our listeners? So,
Okay, so to make it simple, like oxidative stress is when your antioxidants is lower than your free radicals. So we have our inside antioxidants like glutathione, catalase, and SOD or superoxide dismutase. Those are the three main antioxidants, which is generally it's enough to combat any free radicals. But the thing is that do we have enough of those antioxidants? Yeah. So is our body supported enough to produce those endogenous antioxidants? Because if not, then we need to support our body in the term of taking antioxidants from outside, such as vitamin C, um, glutathione. You can have glutathione right now, astaxanthin, any antioxidants actually. And then the free radicals, we will have free radicals. The free radicals is not generally our enemy.
mm-hmm.
When you're breathing, you are producing free radicals. You cannot live without free radicals. It is in a natural state, we will produce free radicals. And in a normal amount, not a small amount, in a normal amount, free radicals, it's good because it's that is the trigger that we need to like to make everything balance. We need the free radicals, but the thing is that with oxidative stress, the level of free radicals is higher. So this is the free radicals and this is the antioxidants, and it's higher. When it's higher, when at this point you will have oxidative stress, and that is when everything goes wrong. That is when your energy production process is depleted,
Mm-hmm.
it's disturbed. And what you need to do is to lower that oxidative stress by increasing the antioxidants. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not as easy as it sounds like when I told you you need to increase your antioxidants. Because sometimes when you increase the antioxidants and then you have the environmental toxicants inside your body that is going on and on, the no matter how much antioxidants that you're in, it's going to be depleted right away. And you
Mm-hmm.
need to remove those toxicants too, and then to prevent those toxicants from getting back. And that's
And how do
only
you do that? How do you prevent?
okay. So there are so many ways to treat. To treat, there are so many ways. I know that some doctors will do chelations, but I prefer to enhance because I what I do is functional medicine. I do prefer to enhance by detoxifications.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when we're talking about detoxification, it's not just taking a bunch of supplementations or multivitamins because it's not going to work. You need to know which parts of the detoxification process that is not working for for the
Mm-hmm.
persons and what kind of toxicants. When we're talking about toxicants, you can check actually. You can check for the like hair mineral analysis, like, things like that. You can know what toxicants that is high uh, for that specific persons. Yeah, so I think that required more consultations and more diagnosis, more of
Mhm.
anything. But in general, yes, you can do chelations. You can increase their detoxification process. That is the most important thing to
And
do.
even like general stuff, exercise, sweating, some people use infrared saunas and
Yes,
things like
sauna.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sauna. That is a very good thing because it increases your lymphatic drainage,
Hmm.
and anything that will increase lymphatic drainage will improve those toxins to be thrown up from your body.
Hmm. Okay. Wow, I think you've given us a real good breakdown here. But I wanted to actually touch on something, Lisa. You said you yourself went through this journey.
Yeah.
So, can you just share with us what actually helped you and how was your recovery process?
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of funny actually. So in 2012, I I was just working and working after not really 3 years of stagnancy because I have my daughter. I was giving birth to my daughter and just taking care of her, and then I go back to work and working and working, and I don't really recognize that I'm having fatigue at that moment
Hmm.
until I lose one of my relative, which is my uncle, which was an eye opening for me that I I want to do more, and then I go back to school. Actually, I took my anti-aging master degree, and I finished it in 2015. And after that, I'm taking several different courses to support my anti-aging journey. One of the courses require me to take a lab test, which then I know that I have uh, hypothyroidism.
Hmm.
So it's funny because I've
You
never thought of
never
that.
looked into.
Yeah, I never look into.
Okay.
So, but then
But you were tired all this while. You were
yes,
exhausted.
yes.
Okay.
But I never, I just go on with life. I think, like most of the people, this is normal. Life's hard. I just have to do it better. Yeah, I'm being harsh on myself, things like that. So when my patients comes to me, like, yeah, I know what you're experiencing. That was me like several years ago. So it relates more. And but the thing is that the hypothyroidism that I have is it's on borderline.
Mhm.
So when I asked to be treated, I was always told that it's not needed. It was not needed.
Subclinical all the time.
Subclinical,
Yeah.
higher. So, but I know something's going wrong. Something is wrong inside of my body. So I took that on my own hands,
Mm.
and with I'm learning about functional medicine at the time also, and I'm already have my anti-aging degree. So I think, you know what? Why don't I put it on myself?
Practice.
Put myself as a practice. Yeah. So I do my own exercise plan. I plan my own exercise regimens. I change my own diet. I push myself. I took HIIT, which is HIIT exercise. I do yoga. I cut down sugars. I cut down coffee. I manage my own sleep. I learn a lot about sleep medicine during my own self healing, not self healing, I mean the healing process.
Mhm.
And I think it took about a year, and I do another lab test. It was good.
Mhm. So,
So
just lifestyle measures you manage to improve your metabolic health,
yeah,
basically.
and I took several herbs too,
Okay.
like and supplements. I do took CoQ10s, and another one is ashwagandha. So
Mhm.
which
That
yeah, which
managed your
is
stress and your stress response a bit better.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And by the time of the second blood test, I couldn't believe myself. Oh, it's working. Yeah, so that I think that increased my belief systems on the whole lifestyle ideas, on the whole anti-aging and functional medicines. I mean, if it's not about, if I didn't do it to myself, I don't think I can be confident enough to talk to you about this. Like, yeah, to talk to my patients, to really ensure that it's going to work for you.
Now, I think that's great, Nalisa, sharing this. I think as a society, we put stress and overwork as a badge of honor, and it's actually not the right way to do it anymore. You know,
No, no.
it's wrong. I think we really should
Yes.
focus on quality of life, your sleep, your
Yeah.
relationships,
Yes.
your mental health. So it's nice. So now, how are you? Now, are you an epitome of health, and are you just pushing out energy all the time? So,
Actually, since COVID-19, I've been trying to manage my offline practice to online practice, and I've been focusing on myself more. It's like I'm on hermit mode for several months, actually. But by doing that, I know what is important for me. So I think the most important thing is not taking on everything, like FOMO, fear of missing
mm,
out.
mm,
I did that. I've experienced FOMO. I took a lot of course. I don't want to miss out on anything, but I know that it's going not going to support me in the long term. I know that bigger is not better. Having more is not better. So right now, I'm just focusing on what I really want in my life. Yeah. So prioritizing on what do I want in my life? How do I perceive how do I want to see myself in the next 10 years?
mhm,
Because I don't want to do everything by myself. Like I want to have a freedom to travel with my daughter, travel with my family, to have me time. So if I want to have those, I cannot take everything by my own.
mhm.
So yeah, so
So that's basically your realization, like,
yeah,
mindfully trying to work.
yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Now, I think you've given us very good tip here, Lisa. Thanks for all that you've spoken. Now, what's your top three tips to our listeners today?
Okay, so first is get to know your own body. Listen to yourself more. I think that is the when you're just working, when you're just trying to live in your best life, you ignore any signs or symptoms in the body, right? Like, but those signs and symptoms are there for a reason. Your body needs something. Sometimes it needs more rest. Sometimes it needs more exercise. Sometimes it's going to tell you that you're taking on something too much, like maybe alcohol or coffee or sugar or anything, or smoking too much. So listen, try to listen what is your body telling you. That is the biggest thing that I'm still trying to do it. Like, okay, you know what? I'm having headache. Um, I usually just ignore them. "Ah, it's just a headache, it's mild. It's not something that I need to worry. Right now, I'm just okay. So I'm having headache. What is happening in my body right now? What is my body trying to tell me? Okay, okay. So I've been trying to put myself into writing too much. Okay, so that's probably it. So I'm trying to cut down on my writing time and just having a me time right now until I get better. So that is what I'm trying to do on myself. And the second one is prioritize your health. I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but I think with this pandemic, I think it's an eye opener for all of us that every now and then we're going to have this kind of thing. I mean, COVID-19 is not the end. After COVID-19, they're going to have to
Some
be
other
like,
stress, yeah.
yeah, some another pandemic, like I don't know, tuberculosis, probably like some other thing that is going to threaten our entire being, not just individual, but us as society. So prepare for that by prioritizing your health more than ever, because I think that is the best investment that you can make is yourself.
Hmm.
And because you cannot do anything if you don't have your own health at the optimum level. You can. We know that, right? We know that now. So this should be an eye opener for all of us. And the last one is fatigue is real. fatigue is real. It's not in your head. Just because you're having fatigue, it doesn't mean that you're weak. Some people, yeah, like you said, overworking is a badge of honor, and having fatigue or having tired is signs of weakness. It's not. It is a sign that your body is having a fatigue. That's all.
Mhm.
Your body is having a fatigue, and your body needs you to support your body. It needs you to be able to recognize that, to be able to acknowledge that, and to heal your body first, because you and the body is going to support one another. I mean, if you can like separate your body from yourself, it's going, you need to support the body and the body will support you. If you don't support the body is not going to support you, vice
Mhm.
versa. So fatigue is real. If you're having excessive tiredness that is not resolved by sleeping, or in general, just I think more than 2 weeks of prolonged excessive tiredness, you need to get yourself checked.
Yeah,
And there's
I think yeah, that's really important because fatigue can also mean a lot of other illnesses. So we shouldn't
yeah,
just take it's just lifestyle.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
lifestyle is important, but it can mean a lot of other things. So definitely check in
yes,
with your own doctor to,
yes, yes. Like
assess
autoimmune
it.
conditions, yeah, Lyme disease can result in fatigue. So there's so many things that can be because of fatigue.
Now, you are based in Indonesia, am I
In
right?
Jakarta. Yes, Jakarta, Indonesia.
Okay, okay. So different areas might have different diseases and, for their climate and their environment. So that's also important for us to note. Now, what
Yeah.
have you read or listened to lately, Lisa, that's really inspired you?
Okay, so because of this pandemic, I've been following, any news regarding the COVID-19 and coronavirus. And what I read just not not today, but several weeks ago, it's about the insomnia that is getting worse. And people say that coronasomnia, they even have a name for that,
Oh,
which which is okay. You put a name on insomnia, okay, that's good, and which is bad, which is bad, especially because insomnia and any sleep deprivations problems is going to result in fatigue in a very fast manner. If you
mhm,
have any sleep problems, your energy production system is going to be very depleted very fast.
mhm.
And the first thing is that your brain is not going to work at its optimum level, because when you don't sleep properly, your brain energy production system is going to be depleted, because the brain produces its own ATP while we are sleeping. So if you don't sleep, your brain literally don't produce ATP, which is the adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy, the
Sauce.
energy chemical, yeah, the energy source. If your brain's ATP is depleted, the next morning you're going to have brain fog, moody, and if it's happening all the time, you are going to have depressions. You're going to have memory loss, and it's not just stops within the brain. It's going to affect all of the system itself. Sleep is very important.
Fantastic. So
Yeah.
that's new. I've just heard that the first time. Coronosomia, is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, chromosomes. I was like, okay, they're putting a name on it. Okay, okay.
Okay, so thanks for coming in today, Lisa, and sharing your
Thank you.
experience. Now, before we
Thank
go, where
you.
can our listeners find you?
Okay, so to make it simple, just follow my Instagrams at instagram.com/Dr Lisa Silvani. Because then on my profile there's a link and you can go to my websites. You can get a free checklist on boost energy checklist, and then yeah, there's so many more inside the profile link.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for coming to the show today, Lisa.
Thank you, Dr. Asmini, and thank you, Dave.